Lagos. I am going to enjoy myself to the fullest. Lagos must obey. I need to change my look. I need to look sexiest to attract big men in this Lagos.
How could you?
I'm sorry. This must be a stress or a mistake.
The first time Queen realized she was dangerous, she was only 16. It happened during a village festival. The drums were loud, the air smelled of roasted corn and palm wine. Women danced in circles, while children chased each other in the dust. Queen walked through the crowd wearing a simple yellow dress her mother had sewn. Nothing expensive, nothing flashy. Yet, everywhere she passed, heads turned. Men stopped mid-conversation. Women stared too long. Even old chiefs followed her with their eyes. It was not just beauty, it was presence. The kind of beauty that entered a room before the body did. Her friend Sade leaned close and whispered, "You are trouble. One day this village will reject you." Queen laughed. "Reject me for what?" "For being too fine," Sade said. "No place can hold a girl like you." Queen smiled proudly. At 16, pride already lived in her bones. That night, she stood outside her mother's hut and stared at the stars. She imagined Lagos, the city she had only seen in cheap movies. Tall buildings, expensive cars, men in suits, women in glittering dresses. A place where beauty was not wasted on farm work and muddy roads. Her mother came outside quietly. "You are dreaming again," the woman said. Queen did not deny it. "I will not die poor here," she said. "I was not born for this life." Her mother sighed deeply. Every girl thinks that. Lagos is not a dream. Lagos is a mouth. It swallows people. Queen turned and looked at her with fire in her eyes. "Then it will not swallow me. I will swallow Lagos." Her mother felt fear in that moment. Not for Lagos, but for her daughter. 3 years later, Queen left the village with one small bag and a heart full of hunger. Her mother cried as she tied a small cloth purse around her waist. Inside was all her savings. She said, "This is not much, but it is clean money. Promise me you will only eat clean money." Queen nodded quickly, already looking at the waiting bus. "I promise." But even as she said it, her mind was racing ahead, past promises, past warnings, straight into ambition. The bus ride to Lagos felt like a journey into another world. With every mile, Queen felt lighter. The village became a memory. Poverty became something behind her. When Lagos finally appeared, endless traffic, shouting conductors, horns screaming, lights flashing, Queen smiled. "This city is mine," she whispered. The city did not answer. It was watching. Lagos did not welcome her with riches. It welcomed her with hunger. The cousin she planned to stay with had moved away. The address she carried was useless. For 2 nights, Queen slept in a crowded room with strangers who smelled of sweat and hopelessness. She held her bag tight against her chest, afraid someone will steal the little she had. By the 3rd day, her money was almost gone. She stood by the roadside watching women step out of shining cars. Their clothes were perfect, their hair expensive, their laughter loud. Men opened doors for them. Queen looked down at her worn slippers. Something hardened inside her. That evening, she met a woman named Blessing. Blessing was older, sharp-eyed, and dressed like Lagos itself, bold and glittering. She caught Queen staring. "You are new," Blessing said. Queen nodded. "You are too fine to suffer," she continued. "Do you want to eat or do you want to starve?" Queen hesitated. Blessing smiled slowly. "Beauty is money. You just need to know how to spend it." That sentence changed Queen's life. Blessing taught her everything: how to dress, how to walk softly but confidently, how to look a man in the eye just long enough to make him feel chosen, how to listen like he was the only person in the world. Within weeks, Queen was unrecognizable. Her hair flowed like silk. Her makeup was sharp and modern. Her clothes hugged her tall body perfectly. When she entered lounges and hotels, heads turned again, just like in the village, but louder. This time, Queen did not feel shy. She felt powerful. Her first few friends were small men, traders, businessmen, politicians with dirty secrets. They gave her money easily. Gifts, phones, rent. She told herself she was not doing anything wrong. They are using me, she whispered to her reflection one night. I am just using them back. Soon, small men were no longer enough. She wanted big prey. That was when she met Mr. Enoch. Mr. Enoch. The supermarket was cold and quiet. Queen was choosing wine she could not pronounce when a voice spoke beside her. That one is too bitter. She turned. Mr. Enoch stood there in a simple suit that probably cost more than her entire wardrobe. His smile was gentle, his eyes tired. I prefer sweeter wine, he said. Life is bitter enough. Queen laughed softly. They talked for 15 minutes. That was all it took. Mr. Enoch was a billionaire businessman, widowed, lonely, used to people respecting his money but not seeing his heart. Queen looked at him like a man, not a wallet. It was an act, but it was her best performance. Their relationship moved fast. Private dinners, weekend trips, expensive gifts. He told her stories about his late wife. She pretended to cry. He held her hand like it was fragile glass. For the first time since his wife died, Mr. Enoch felt alive. I want to marry you, he said one night. Queen's heart jumped, not from love, but for opportunity. She pretended to struggle with the decision. She talked about trust, commitment, fear. Every word made him love her more. Finally, she whispered yes. The house he bought for her was enormous. Marble floors, glass walls, a swimming pool that glowed blue at night. He placed documents in her name for security. Security. Queen memorized every paper, every password, every signature. And then she disappeared. The theft. It took less than 48 hours. The house was sold through forged documents, accounts drained, jewelry cleared, safe emptied, cars transferred. By the time Mr. Enoch returned from a trip, Queen was gone like smoke. The police searched, lawyers shouted, investors panicked, his empire shook. Mr. Enoch collapsed in his office. Doctors called it stress, trauma, high blood pressure. The newspapers called it scandal. Queen called it success. From a hotel balcony overlooking the ocean, she sipped champagne and smiled. I told you, she whispered to the city, I will swallow you. But far away, in an hospital bed, a broken man stared at the ceiling and prayed for justice. And somewhere in Lagos, men were listening. Money changes how the world speaks to you. After Mr. Enoch, Lagos no longer whispered to Queen. It bowed. She moved into a luxury apartment under a fake name. The windows overlooked the ocean. Every night, the city lights blinked like stars that belonged only to her. She bought clothes she once stared at in magazines. Shoes lined her walls like trophies. Her phone never stopped ringing. Men wanted her, women envied her, and Queen felt untouchable. But something else grew inside her too. Something cold. The first theft scared her. The second did not. The third excited her. She stopped seeing men as people. They became doors, and every door only mattered if it opened into money. Blessing noticed the change. One night, they sat in a rooftop bar, Lagos wind blowing through their hair. Blessing watched Queen laugh with a group of businessmen across the room. You are going too fast, Blessing said quietly. Queen sipped her drink. Too fast to what? To the edge, Blessing replied. Queen smiled lazily. I already jumped. Blessing shook her head. Men like the ones you are playing with don't forgive, they don't forget. One day they will talk to each other. Queen laughed. Let them talk, she said. By the time they finish talking, I will be richer. She believed money could outrun consequences. Lagos was patient. It let her believe. Mr. David. Mr. David entered her life like a storm. Young, sharp, ambitious, he built tech companies, invested in oil, and bragged that he trusted no one. He called himself a self-made king. They met at a private party in Lekki. Music pounded, lights flashed. Queen walked in wearing silver that hugged her body like liquid. Conversations died mid-sentence. Mr. David noticed immediately. He approached with a confident grin. "You look expensive," Queen said. Queen smiled. "Only to men who can afford me." Instead of being offended, he laughed. That was the beginning. Their relationship was a battle of intelligence disguised as romance. Mr. David prided himself on being impossible to fool. Queen made him feel like the exception to his own rule. She studied him carefully. His habits, his passwords, his weak moments. He loved control, so she pretended to surrender it. He fell deeper. "I've never trusted a woman before," he told her one night. Queen rested her head on his chest and whispered, "Then trust me." Those words were a knife. He handed her access to accounts, investments, properties, not fully, but enough. He believed he was still in charge. He wasn't. The day he discovered the truth, he was sitting in his office reviewing numbers that no longer added up. Millions were missing. Transfers he didn't authorize. Assets quietly moved. He called her phone. Switched off. He drove to her apartment. Empty. Every trace of her vanished. Mr. David smashed his office window in rage. Security guards watched in silence. A king humiliated. And somewhere far away, Queen counted money with steady hands. She felt no guilt, only victory. By now, Queen was no longer invisible. Her name moved quietly among wealthy men like a ghost story. A woman who appeared beautiful and loving, then erased you. Some called her a demon. Some admired her boldness. Some swore revenge. Queen heard the rumors and laughed. Fear, to her, was power. She bought more property under false identities. She traveled. Dubai, Ghana, South Africa. Each trip added layers to her confidence. She walked like the ground belonged to her. But inside her luxury apartment, when the lights were off and the city went quiet, something strange sometimes crept in. Silence. No real friends. No family. No love. Only money. She pushed the feeling away with parties and champagne until the night she met Emeka. The first thing Queen noticed was how calm he was. Not flashy, not loud, not desperate to impress. He sat in a corner of a private lounge speaking softly with two men in suits. When he looked at her, his eyes didn't widen like other men's. He simply observed. That unsettled her. Queen approached him instead. "You look bored," she said. He smiled slightly. "I am watching." "Watching what?" "You," he replied. No hunger in his voice, no begging, just certainty. She sat down. They talked for hours. He didn't brag, didn't try to buy her. He asked about her childhood, her dreams, her fears, questions men never asked. For the first time in years, Queen spoke honestly, and it scared her. When she left that night, she felt exposed. She checked his name the next day. Emeka, young billionaire, investments across Africa, powerful family, untouchable. Queen stared at his photo on her phone. This one, I will not steal from. The thought shocked her. She met him again and again. Each meeting stripped away layers she didn't know she still had. With him, she didn't perform. She laughed without calculation. She spoke without strategy. She was falling, and she didn't know how to stop. Blessing saw it immediately. "You are in love," she said bluntly. Queen denied it, but her voice was weak. Blessing grabbed her shoulders. "Love is dangerous for women like us. We survive by distance. The moment you open your heart, you become prey." Queen pulled away. "He's different," she whispered. Blessing laughed bitterly. "They are all different until they are not." Queen didn't listen, because for the first time since leaving her village, she wanted something more than money. She wanted peace, and Emeka looked like peace. She didn't know she was walking into the most expensive trap of her life. Love did not enter Queen's life loudly. It arrived quietly, like rain that starts as a whisper before becoming a storm. After Emeka, the city looked different to her. Lagos was still loud, still greedy, still hungry. But when she was with him, the noise faded. She didn't feel like prey or predator. She felt human. That scared her more than any police siren ever could. Emeka never chased her. He never called 10 times a day, never begged, never showed jealousy. His calmness pulled her toward him like gravity. When they were together, he listened more than he spoke. And when he did speak, his words carried weight. "You live like someone running," he told her one evening as they watched the ocean from his balcony. Queen forced a laugh. "Running from what?" "From being still. Stillness reveals truth." She changed the topic quickly, but his words followed her home. That night, she stared at her reflection in the mirror. Expensive makeup, perfect hair, designer silk. And for the first time in years, she didn't recognize the woman looking back. "Who are you without the game?" The question echoed in her mind. She had no answer. The proposal. Emeka proposed 3 months later. No crowd, no cameras, no drama. Just a quiet restaurant filled with white roses. He held her hand across the table, his voice steady. "I want to build a life with you. Not a show, not a fantasy. A life." Queen felt her chest tighten. Nobody had ever offered her a life before. Only transactions. Tears filled her eyes before she could stop them. "Yes," she whispered. It was the easiest yes of her life. For the first time since leaving her village, Queen made a decision without calculation. She called Blessing that night, crying with happiness. "I'm done. No more games. No more stealing. I want peace." Blessing was silent for a long time. Then she spoke softly. "Peace is expensive, my friend. I hope you can afford it." Queen didn't understand the warning. She was too busy dreaming. The wedding was small but elegant. Powerful people attended quietly. Emeka's family smiled politely, but their eyes were cold. Queen felt the chill, but ignored it. She told herself they would warm up in time. Marriage would fix everything. She moved into Emeka's mansion overlooking the water. For the first few weeks, life felt perfect. Breakfasts together, long drives, soft laughter at night. Queen believed she had escaped her past. She even started giving away money anonymously, funding small businesses, helping women on the streets. Maybe this is how redemption begins, she thought. Then the first crack appeared. It happened over nothing. Dinner was late. Emeka's voice rose slightly. Queen apologized. She laughed nervously to lighten the mood. His hand moved before she saw it. The echo echoed in the room. Silence. Queen stood frozen, her cheek burning. Emeka stared at his own hand like it belonged to someone else. Then he smiled. A calm, terrifying smile. "Now we understand each other," he said quietly. That night, Queen didn't sleep. She told herself it was stress, a mistake, a moment. But mistakes don't repeat. The next week, it was a shove, then a punch, then words sharper than knives. "You think I don't know who you are," he sneered. One night, "You are a thief dressed like a queen." Her blood turned cold. "How do you—" "I know everything." And in his eyes, she saw something she had never seen before. Hatred, pure and patient. The truth came slowly, like poison entering water. Queen overheard a phone call one night. Emeka stood in his office, voice low. "Yes," he said. "She's broken already. Soon she'll beg." Her heart stopped. "She deserves worse," he continued, "after what she did to them." Them. Queen backed away from the door, her hands shaking. Mr. Enoch, Mr. David, the men she destroyed. They had not forgotten. They had sent Emeka, her husband, her punishment. The room spun around her. Every memory replayed. The calm eyes, the gentle voice, the perfect proposal. It was all a performance. He had studied her the way she studied her victims, and he had won. The cage. After that night, the violence intensified. Not wild, not messy, controlled. Emeka hurt her with precision. He knew exactly how much pain to give without killing her. He starved her emotionally, locked her in rooms, destroyed her confidence piece by piece. When she discovered she was pregnant, she cried with relief. A child would change him. She believed this with desperate hope. Emeka laughed when she told him. "That thing is not mine," he said coldly. The words shattered her. He refused hospital visits, refused care. Sometimes he beat her until she collapsed.